sir. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. What's up?
Listen, man, it is so hard to get people on Instagram Live. Like, for some reason, the lives are acting up. It's really, really hard to get this done, but I'm happy you're here, brother. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just chilling, you know.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to give you your flowers. You are a legend in our town of Harlem. Mm-hmm. You know, you did a lot. You did a lot when it came to that kind of work. You did a lot. There are people like myself that did a lot in music. There are people who, like Jamal Mashburn, who did their thing in sports. And, you know, for what it is, whether it's illegal or illegal, you were a legend in what you did. And that just goes to the work that you put in. No matter what line of work you are in, there's work and there's hustle, and there are things that you have to do to get to a certain level, and you were able to do that. So I want to start with your story. Tell everybody about yourself, and then I'm going to just dig into some of the things that people in the street are going to want to know. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
I came to this country when I was 7 years old. You know, a little political war was going on down in Jamaica that led to the deadliest political war of our island's time in 1980. Mm-hmm. So I came up, and, you know, family moved out to New Jersey. The rest of the family moved to Brooklyn. Then, you know, my other, you know, family members and comrades started coming up from Jamaica in the 80s, over in Brownsville, things like that, up and down Brooklyn. And I started going over there, mixing with them. I learned how to hustle, you know what I mean? Because, you know, that's what was available. So I took advantage of it. So I got into that over there, you know, young age, little 10, 11 years old, stuff like that, doing me. And, you know, I went to jail, came out, you know what I mean? And then, you know, went up to Washington Heights, you know what I mean? Started, you know, doing my thing up there. Went down on 8th Avenue, started doing my thing, and then I just merged the two. And then I, you know, opened up Club 2000, brought everybody, you know, to come together as one up to Washington Heights where I was at. Because, you know, I've been there since in the late 70s, you know what I mean? From before crack cocaine, mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
You were there, were you there before Washington Heights was known as the cocaine capital of the East Coast?
Yeah, and I was up there during that time. I'm talking, you know, 77, 78, you know what I mean? When Disco Fever was open, Connection and Ecstasy Garage. You know, I could go back, family, you know what I mean?
Okay, we're going to get into that. And a couple of things we were definitely going to talk about is, because your name is so synonymous with Washington Heights. You know, I remember as a young man, you know, just being up in the Heights, literally you could just be in the street. And there'd be dudes like, yo, Bobby.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. Like, people were literally walking around with bricks in the street trying to get them off. It was like open air. Like, it was crazy. I've never seen anything like that. You'll probably never see anything like that again. But I want to start from the beginning, and we'll get to all of that. Let's start with this. You're from Jamaica originally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the things, you know, in researching this and a little bit about you, I found out that you were actually related to Marcus Garvey.
Yes, my grandfather and Marcus Garvey's grandparents is the same. You know what I mean? So, you know, the first cousins, you know, it's documented in the, you know, everything is documented. I got it in my video at Aaayyoo in Harlem, where I got my book at, you know what I mean? I got a video that I did 4 minutes depicting my life story in 4 minutes, where I use actual court documents to substantiate who I am. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I said, you know, many people could talk about it, but only few people was it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, you know.
So being a direct descendant and family with Marcus Garvey, what did that do for you in terms of your mindset, in terms of things in Jamaica? How did that shape you?
Well, that really was never even, you know, given to me until later in life. I was, you know, I just had the Garvey struggle, let's say. But you know, I just had to struggle. You know, I just got the blood in me to move. You see, I just came home and I'm already doing me. You know, it's just in the blood. You know what I'm saying? But now they never told me, oh, you're a Garveyite, so you're supposed to this. And so it was no looking up to it, just me trying to feel my way in the dark. And you know what I mean? Came up with what you have here. You know what I mean? Not proud of everything, but you know, it is what it is. You know?
Right. Now, I also saw that you were a child soldier. So so you were recruited into what party? What was that process like and about?
No, see, it was just wherever you live, that's where the party line was at, because that's where they politician for. You understand what I'm saying? So if you lived over there in the gully, like where I lived at, that was PNP. You know what I mean? The People's National Party. You know what I mean? If you live over there, like, you know what I mean, by Tivoli and all that, then you got JLB. That's why you have the Spanglers, and that's why things are broken up in the manner that it is. Because whatever party wins, that's who give out jobs. You understand what I'm saying? Like how, you know, Joe Biden trying to give out money. You know, so that's what the Democrats want to do. They want to feed the poor. You know what I mean? They want to feed the poor. So we ain't gonna get into that aspect, but you know what I mean. So whatever party win, that's how it is. But down there, we don't hand out picket signs. They hand out guns and machetes. You know what I mean? And tell you to kill the opposition that's voting for something else.
Okay. So with that being said, at a young age, they armed you up, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like they armed me up. You had to arm up to protect yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there was a jungle out there.
How
you understand what I'm saying?
How old were you having to live that kind of life? And what did you go through? Because a lot of people don't think about somebody 8 years old being armed up, or 10 years old being armed up, but that was the experience. So that people understand, because to me, you going through that part of life kind of sets you up for where you went in New York. You had an understanding of that kind of life. It was just a different war. So when did you actually when did that living that life start for you, where you were armed up and stuff like that? And what was it about? What happened?
Now, you know, 8 years old is when I left the island, you know what I mean? So, you know, but before that, that's where, you know, you just had to defend yourself in the neighborhood the same way you defend yourself in Harlem or the Bronx or Brooklyn. During those times, back then, it was just deadly. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it was, you know what I mean? So that's why when Jamaicans came from Jamaica and migrated to America, that's why it was like dog eat dog world, take what you want. You know what I mean? There's a lot of vicious stories behind a lot of cases for men that's buried, you know, upstate New York and in the feds and other places. You understand what I'm saying? That came up and bought that dog eat world that, you know, I'm not going to really get into, but you know what I mean? So we ain't even got to I don't want to even dwell on that, but that's a whole, you know?
The way that I look at it is like this.
Yeah.
Some of the best and most lethal criminals come from places where war is just a cost of doing business. One of my friends, Johhny Alite, he was the main enforcer for the Gambino crime family. He grew up in Albania. Albania was a war zone, and was a war zone from time. So these are people who grew up in fighting, handguns, all of that kind of stuff. So it kind of made the transition, and they have that, even if they didn't do it, their family has it in their blood, so they learn it. That did going through that at a young age make your transition into the business and all of the other things associated with it easier?
But does it make it easier? Does it make what easier?
Just being able to hop into the drug business and
yeah, because see, you got to remember. Listen, man, the secret to the streets, man, to give it to you 100% raw, is you got to understand that death is akin to life. You know what I mean? So at any minute you could lose your life. You know what I mean? So if you're willing to gamble with the ultimate, which is your life, you understand what I'm saying? Then there's no way you're going to fail. You're going to barrel straight to the top, or you're going to lose your life. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're not scared to death and you just want to get to the top, you're going to push everybody and everything out the way. You know what I mean? And that's how I was, you know, raised to, you know, to get mines. You know what I mean? Whatever I want, I go for it. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, that's just, you know, cause where we come from. I mean, our families used to send down barrels from up north. I know a lot of people watching this know what I'm talking about. Send down barrels of clothes and candy and toys, and you know what I mean? And when it come, they try and give it to who it's supposed to be given to. But, you know, it's a dog eat dog, you know what I mean? So everybody go for the barrel. You know what I mean? Everybody go to grab things, unless it's organization, which a lot of times it gets out of hand. So we used to taking, you know what I mean? Use that as a little example, you know, where it come from youth, in that aspect that you see something you want, you go at it. Even when people telling you, no, you can't take that. No, that's not yours. That's Johnny's. It was sent for such and such. Nah, I want that. And we pulling for it as kids. You know what I mean? So now they let us loose on a, you know what I mean, in the world. You understand what I'm saying? And then now this is a time when, you know, no disrespect, but the whole America was drugged out. You know what I mean? They was coming up from off the LSD over to the heroin, to the powder cocaine, to speedballing, you know what I mean, to crack cocaine. And then now they put us up here when all they want to do is get high, and then they made the drugs accessible. Accessible. What the hell am I doing getting my hands on 25 kilos a day? You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not bringing it in. I'm not, I mean, come on. And I know other dudes that was doing that and more than what I was doing. So, I mean, people say, oh, that's a lot. No, that wasn't a lot. That was a part of the game. You got dudes that was, you know what I mean, doing 200 and 300 a day. Like it was nothing. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is, son. You know what I mean? Survival of the fittest. Now,
you said that you have to be ready to die and give it all up.
You got to. Listen, don't get attached.
Every day when you woke up,
yeah,
that was what was on your mind. I may die today, but this is what I got to do to get there.
Nah, not that this is what I got to do to get there. You know, my mindset was more or less like, you know, I'm getting ready to get this. And if I die today, let me finish. If I die today, you understand? Did I leave a good enough legacy behind? You know what I mean? Did I leave a good enough legacy behind? I don't want to die until my legacy is dead. You know what I mean? Like right now, I welcome death. You understand? Because my great grandkids will be able to, you understand, eat off my legacy. You understand what I'm saying? So I've contributed something to my generation. You understand what I'm saying? To my offsprings. You understand? Which is my struggle. You know what I mean? That I'm trying to show them now while I'm here how to shape it into some type of brand. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of just a drug dealer running up and down. Because you know what I did in the music business. You understand what I'm saying?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So, what I know of you from being a young kid and watching it, because I wasn't old enough to get in the club, but I was old enough to know who the players were and what was going on. Just Mecca Audio and Club 2000, all those things like that. I knew you as being somebody who moved a lot of weight, a lot of work. Moving a lot of bricks. If you want to, having a connect that allows you to move bricks would be like in the music business getting a record deal signed.
Exactly.
That's
distributed.
Getting a connect would be like getting a record contract in the music business.
Yeah.
I always wanted to know, do you remember the day that you met your connect? And how did you feel coming out of that meeting? Because that would be akin to someone getting a record deal, someone actually getting on the road to making it. Do you remember that? And do you remember what it felt like?
I mean, I would never forget those moments, you know what I mean? Because those was life-changing moments, you know what I mean? Because like I said, you know, I walked in and I basically told them, yo, this is what it is, man, you know what I mean? Y'all up here, y'all doing this. I could take this down here, make double that. You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, give me 5 joints now. I'm going to run uptown. I'll be right back. You know what I mean? So they gave me 5 joints, ran uptown, came back. You know what I mean? Bought them their little money. You know what I mean? And then, you know, took another 5, ran back up there and showed them that I could do this all day. You understand what I'm saying? But to be safe, you understand what I'm saying? Put them somewhere where I could get to it. And I don't have to see you all day and I could just do what I do and pull you out of harm's way. Because you know I ain't going nowhere with your money and you know I can move it and you know I can protect it. So you know you good. You know what I mean? So, you know, I took it from point A to point B and, you know, walking out of that meeting was like, you know what I mean? It was like, yeah, well, it's on now. You know what I mean? It's on now. No looking back. You know what I mean? That's all it was. No looking back. Because I know it's entering into a whole nother field where now they grab you, you're going to do time. So that's why when, you know, I got the life with no parole plus 20, it didn't shake me. You know what I mean? Because it was already expected. It was a part of the plan. It was either that, death, or get rich, you know what I mean? You know, and either way, to me, they all equal. Because if I die an honorable man, I die a man. And that's all I care about. At the end of the day, I'm going to die. Right. You know what I mean? But I want to just die an honorable man.
It's crazy that you said you knew once you got the connect and you basically made it to the big leagues, you knew that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And what made you in your mind able to accept that? I know you said you want to die a man and you were going to be honorable in your death or whatever moves you made, but at that point, you knew there was no going back, and you still took it on. I'm like what? Just sitting there, you said, "Wow, I'm at the top of whatever this is right now." You're walking around, and you know that you have the power to take 1 brick or 5 bricks or 10 bricks or 20 bricks and put them around, knowing in your mind that at some time this is going to come to an end. What were your plans in your head, knowing that it was going to come to an end? Like, what were your major plans and what were your benchmarks and your goals that you wanted to accomplish before it ended?
Mm-hmm. Well, I accomplished them because I set up the club, you know what I mean, and you know, set up Mecca Audio, and you know, I situated my mother, made sure she was straight, you know what I mean, and you know, my sisters, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I'm comfortable with what I did, you know what I mean. I'm comfortable with what I did, you know what I mean. I'm comfortable with what I did, and my struggles is what led me to who I am today. You understand what I'm saying? Is what led me who I am today. I mean, like I said, I ain't proud of everything, you know what I mean? But I survived everything. And that's the greatest. Because I lost my brother in this. My brother's dead. I got plenty of close friends, but I'm just letting you know I lost a blood brother in this. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, and that, you know, that was in the cards too. You understand what I'm saying? That was in the cards. You know what I mean?
When you lose, of course, we know that drugs and all of that is dangerous business. But when you lose a loved one, somebody close to you, your heart, how do you work that out in your mind? How do you work that out? Because it's a loss, it's painful, but it's to an extent part of the business. How do you rationalize that in your head?
Like you said, it's a part of the game. You know what I mean? A lot of people should have ducked. You know what I mean? A lot of people should have ducked that didn't duck. You know what I mean? It's a part of the game. That's why I said I survived. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I love my brother. I mean, you know what I mean? More than anything. But like I said, I know it's a part of the game. I was bred different. You know what I mean? I wasn't bred to cry over spilled milk. You know what I mean? And yeah, spilled milk. You know what I mean? When I die, that'll be spilled milk because that's a part of life. You know what I mean? Shit happens like milk spills. You die. You know what I mean? It's just how you die. You understand what I'm saying? And what you have left behind for when you die. You understand what I'm saying?
Now speaking of dying, when you go to jail, technically you die. Because at a certain point in time, they'll say, yo, free unique, and there may be some t-shirts. But as the time goes away, you're fading, brother. You're fading. So that is a form of death. Going in jail and knowing that pretty much you're going to die. What are you sitting in there saying your first night?
Now, my thing was, you know, to be honest with you, you know, I prayed, you know what I mean, for forgiveness, you know what I mean, for a lot of the things that I've done, you know, along the course of survival. You understand? Including poisoning my community and, you know, all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Because I started meeting dudes after about 15, 20 years in. I started meeting dudes after about 15 years in now, a decade before I came home. I started meeting young men from different areas that I've hustled in. You understand what I'm saying? That was born during that time from using my poison. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what the thoughts that hit my mind, that damn, I'm responsible for that. You know, they'd be like, yo, such and such a lunchbox. You know what I mean? But we poisoned those lunchboxes' parents. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, we always use, man. You know what I mean? Because they let it in. But like I said, I'm just a man that can admit, you understand what I'm saying, and take responsibility for my actions. You understand? And right now I'm trying to do a little better. That's why I got my little joint over there, Unique Mecca Audio at the YouTube, because I'm not chasing views. I'm not chasing that. I'm chasing saving one kid. Because if somebody would have tried to save me, man, and you know what I mean, I would have loved for a person to just try. Not saying I would have listened. Let's get that straight. You know what I mean? But just knowing that someone even cared enough. That's why I said, that's why like losing life is nothing. You know what I mean? Because the way, you know, way I was raised, life is life. You know what I mean? Life is like breath. 1 minute is here, it's next. The next is gone. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you don't cry over certain things, man. You just move forward and take what you want. You know what I mean? And like I said, make sure you leave a good legacy behind. If you want to be left, if you want to leave behind that you a piece of shit, you do that. You know what I mean? But, you know, I want to be left behind that even after all my struggles, I grew. You understand what I'm saying? I grew. You understand? Because, you know, I moved with what was there for me. You understand what I'm saying? I moved with what was there for me, and that was it. You know, but I survived. Like I said, that's the key. Because a lot of people listening now, you know what I mean? Trust me, I don't know if you would have survived, dog. Like I
No,
said, I lost my own brother. I lost some of the closest people to me. So I was lucky to survive. You know what I mean? I ain't no better than the next person. I'm just saying that era was a mother.
Listen,
you know?
I can tell you, not only did you go through that, you did a lot of time. So in doing that time, did you ever think that in the year 2020, 2021, that you would actually put feet on the street again? Or did you just accept it like, I got life plus this, I'm never coming home? Did you ever hold out hope? Did you ever have a plan? What were your thoughts being in there for that many years? Did you see the end of the rainbow?
Man, none of that moved me, man. When dude said life plus, you know, with no parole plus 20 years and all of this, it didn't even move me because it was expected. I knew they wasn't gonna give me nothing that I wanted, but I know that that's not God's plan for me. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I was leaving a good legacy. You know, so when the judge asked me to speak, you know what I'm saying? I didn't ask him for leniency. I didn't ask him to cut my time. You know what I mean? I didn't ask him to spare me. I asked him to send me someplace that I could better myself so I could come back and, you know, be able to take care of my family. You know what I mean? And my children when I go home, because right now I don't even know how to read or write. I knew how to count. You know what I mean? And that's what I said to him when he asked me to speak. So that's why when Donald Trump signed this thing in saying that if you self-rehabilitated and you were sentenced to crack cocaine during my era, that you could go back to your judge and you go back to my judge and show him what I've done to rehabilitate, and then it's up to the judge. So I went back to the judge and showed him, man, when I stood in front of you 26 years ago, I didn't beg you for nothing. I just asked you to send me someplace so I could better myself, so I could show you that I'm going to be able to take care of my family when I go home. So, you know, since then I done got my GED, you know, I done became a certified electrician, plumber, mechanic, HVAC, refrigeration specialist, culinary house cook, serve safe, you understand, certified mentor, suicide preventionist, you know what I mean? So I sent all of those in, plus 100 and something other certificates that I got over my 26 years, because I refused to take that life with no parole to mean me unique. That can't mean me, because I know God got me. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm sitting here.
When you sent all of that to the lawyer, what was his response to you? Obviously he let you out, but what was his response to all of those accolades, all of those
let's get it straight. I done went through quite a few lawyers that said, nigga, is you stupid? You know who you are. You know how much drugs you sold. You know how much havoc you caused in this country. They're never putting you back out there. They don't care what you're doing here. None of that don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? That's all right. Well, get out the way. Let me find somebody that got faith in where I'm at then. And this went on for years, for decades, with them saying, I can't touch you. When I put in for the clemency, they were like, man, yo, do you see your record? I had a rap sheet last time. I've been since the 70s. I've been a screw up. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm like, okay, so that's why I respected my judge, because my judge looked back and said, hold on, you did all of this in 26 years on the street, but for the last 27 years, you did all of this. You understand what I'm saying? And this supersedes this, because this is who you are today. I sentenced you according to who you was yesterday, but now I'm going to release you according to who you have become today. And that's why I'm sitting here. So that's why I'm trying to save one kid over my YouTube, you know?
I noticed that, man. All the people who have really done some of the worst crimes and got the most time, I noticed they're the ones who are trying to save the kids. You get the call that you are now going to be released. What's going through your mind? 26, you're in there 26 years. Oh, we're released. You're going to be released. What is the first thing you do? The first thing you do?
First of all, there was no call. Dude just came to my door and said, give me an address. I said, for what? He said, because you're going home. I said, man, get away from my door. Because it's a nasty case manager. You know what I mean? Nasty little racist dude. So I'm thinking he's being nasty because I was just trying to get moved out of his unit to get sent to another prison over in North Carolina so I could put another motion in while that motion was pending. Because I ain't got no problem shooting at the courts. You know what I mean? Something gonna hit somebody hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you got to be in it to win it, like Lotto.
Right.
You know? But you know, so you know, that's where I was at. So I just, you know, did me, man. You know?
Now, once they said you're going home, how long was it before, okay, hey, the guy comes up, he says, you're going home. How long does it take before you're actually walking out the door?
Okay, if it wasn't me, it would have only took maybe 2-3 hours. But they had me on a immigration detainer. So they had to hold me for immigration to come get me and then send me over to the immigration processing center to start a whole nother bid and a whole nother fight. So, I mean, you know what I mean? It is what it is. That my life has been a fight. So I welcome all of it. You understand what I'm saying? Because I know God got me. Least of my worry is God got me. So, like I said.
This is amazing because, see, I only thought, for me knowing just what I know, I thought, all right, boom, it's over, I'm home. You got to go to immigration and have a. So what does that fight entail? Because that's a whole nother war.
I'm fighting it right now. I got an ankle bracelet on. I'm fighting it as we speaking. I'm still fighting it. You know what I mean? Like I said, my whole life been a fight, man. You know what I mean? But like I said, I've been surviving. You know what I mean? You know, fight with immigration, fight with the federal court, fight with niggas on the street. You understand? Fight with the appeals court, fight with the district court. Man, I've been fighting all my life in this damn country, man. You know what I mean? So I don't duck none of that. You know what I mean?
You look at it as another fight. You look at it as another war that you got to go through.
And that's it.
So the thing that people don't understand is what you did in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to tell you, as a young man coming up in the business, you had a store. I want you to first of all tell everybody about that store and what that store meant to hip hop.
Oh, that's Mecca Audio, man. Mecca Audio, I created a store that I wanted to give the DJs a home, because at this time rappers was taking over. You know what I mean? In the industry. You know, before that it was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. You understand what I'm saying? Grand Wizard Theodore. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Funky 4 Plus. You know what I mean? You know. But once things started moving in that direction, the DJs ain't had nowhere to go. And they the ones always made me feel good when I go in the after hours club, man. You know, the DJ. So, you know, I love Starchild. I love Starski. You understand? Brucie B, Ron G. You understand? Doo-Wop. You know what I mean? We go all the way back. I love all them. Buck Wild, you know, SNS. You understand what I'm saying? Double J. You know what I mean? You know, my homie Double J. You know, but you know, they used to come to the Mecca and make their tapes in the Mecca for free. I don't charge nobody nothing. It was there. It was theirs. It wasn't for me to make money. It was for them to have a home. You know what I mean? So I gave the DJs a home. You know what I mean? And made sure they had it in, you know what I mean? Then I opened up Club 2000 and I gave, you know, Harlem a home. You know, I welcome them up to Washington Heights and, you know, came in, did my little 2-step with my chants and all that. And, you know, you already know what it is. Like the Aaayyoo Iiight, you know what I mean? You know, I coined that, you know, Dougie Fresh signed it to me. We did what we did. You know what I mean? I own 100% of that. I wrote the Hip Hop Hooray. You understand what I'm saying? You already know you know, it was a big thing with Tretch and them with that, you know, back in the day.
Wait a minute, hold,
you know?
stop. 1 second. Of course, we all know, because we're from Harlem, we all know the Aaayyoo Iiight. We know that.
Yeah.
I'm new information now.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to just double back real quick. That Mecca Audio was a spot for all mixtape guys.
Yeah.
Stuff was sold out of there.
Yeah.
Out of that store, I would say Ron G, SNS. Who else became a worldwide name? Would you say Kid Capri?
Kid Capri came through. That was my man.
Right. Okay. So
Brucie B, come on.
You have to understand, and people, I want you to understand, because I'm going to give them his flowers. Mixtapes in the late doo-wop, mixtapes in the late 90s.
Early 90s.
Early
80s, yeah.
Early to mid in that area. That was the birthplace in New York. That was the place you went. That was the genesis. And that's why it's so important to hip hop. Without the mixtape, we probably don't have a lot of what we have right now. Period. Now we go to the club. Club 2000. Again, I'm a young guy. I can't get in. I'm a kid. I'm not old enough to get in. You know, I'm not fast enough to get in. I'm watching it from the periphery. I believe, from what I remember the first time Luke came to New York, Luke was at Club 2000, right?
Yeah, I got video footage and all that from that, you know, pictures of the girls, you know, like I said, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where my mom's at, where I told you I situated my mother, you know, family was down there and all that. So, you know, I went down there and, you know, you want any dude, you know what I mean? If you want any man, you get his girl. You know what I mean? You get his girl, because he going to go where the woman go. You know what I mean? So I went down there, I got with Luke Skywalker's dancers, you know what I mean? And I brought them up to New York. That made him and Evie and JT Money. That's my man. Shout out to JT Money. You know what I mean? Uzi, you know, Ram, all of them. You know, CP Cox. That's what made all of them want to come to New York. You know what I mean? Because I brought the women up from down in Miami, and the women went back telling their stories and had their big VHS tapes in their purse to show how they came up here with this rich man from New York that was turning it out. You know what I mean? Then all the other strippers wanted to go. Then all the rappers say, man, I want to experience that, because New York, we wasn't vibing off of Florida music. I brought Florida music to New York. You know what I mean? I introduced that to New York.
You definitely
you know
did.
What I mean? No one knew what Luke Skywalker was in New York. I came up with my big white Jeep with the big Mickey Thompson tires on it. You know what I mean? With the 8-inch lift kit. You know what I mean? And, you know, my white girls in the back and, you know, do me. You know, with nothing but that Miami bass music playing while I'm riding through Harlem. You know what I mean? And, you know, when I opened the club up, I brought my cousins up who DJ and do music. And they, you know, made sure, you know, we orchestrated it to bring Florida in with the New York music. You know what I mean? And that's how, you know, the stripping, I see they talking about twerk and all that. Wasn't no twerking then. That was just the Miami girls used to shake that thing in the club. Now they done labeled it twerking and gave it, you know, to a person. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, man. But, you know, but that's the same thing like you're saying with the Hip Hop Hooray. You know what I mean? We started the Hip Hop Hooray. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm just turning some more light on, because it's getting dark in here. And let me tell you something. I definitely thought that this was, I'm so interested in this. I got to turn the lights on, bro. Hold on. Just give me a second. Let me turn the lights on, because it's getting dark in here and I'm still talking. Let me turn the lights on in here so I can actually hear what you're saying. Because what people don't understand, hold on one second. Whatever's going on with this light, it ain't working. Hold on, it ain't working. Hold on, let me just turn the light on. There's no way to turn the light on here. Whatever, I'm gonna have to do without that light. What people don't understand is that booty music, twerk music, none of that was up here until you came into the picture. That's all.
Exactly. Period.
All you.
Period.
And I think that you were the reason that music birthed in the Northeast, because as New York goes, Maryland goes, Philly goes, Boston goes, Virginia goes. So that was very, very important in the growth of down south music, and that was the precursor to Master P later on. So I say, in terms of bringing a Southern vibe to New York City, that was you, and you definitely have to get credit for that. You made a lot of money. What do you think was your biggest mistake in terms of dealing with money? What do you think that you could have done better?
I mean, there's a whole bunch of things I could have done better. Like I said, I did that without being able to read or write. I was just feeling my way around the dark. The money came, I protected the money, I stacked the money, I did the best I could with it. The people that came to me that brought ideas, you know what I mean? If it sounded feasible, you know what I mean? I dealt with it. So, I mean, that's how I got by with not having an education. But now there's a whole bunch. I could write a book on that. You know what I mean? You know, what I could have did different. But like I said, back then I was feeling my way in the dark. I ain't here to sit here, you know, blowing smoke up nobody's ass, telling no stories. You know what I mean? I'm keeping it real. I just knew how to get money, got money. If I wanted to buy a Mercedes, I bought a Mercedes. You know what I mean? If I'm wearing a red outfit, I go buy a red Mercedes. If I'm wearing a black outfit, I call the dealer, go get a black one. You know what I mean? That's how we was living then. You understand what I'm saying? Because we was living a legacy. I knew I was living a movie. You know what I mean? I knew my life was a movie because it was beautiful. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not bragging, but I'm saying when it was good, it was great. It was beyond great. You understand what I'm saying? But the 26 years in prison, nah. So that's why I wouldn't do that again. And that's why I tell the youth, don't do it again. You understand what I'm saying? So you could go live a great, you know, 8, 10 years like I did and make a name for yourself and then go sit in the cage for the possible rest of your life. And if you're blessed, you get 26 years like me. You know what I mean? And watch your kids grow up without you and watch your kids bringing grandkids to see you. And you still ain't touched the ground. You ain't walk on the park with your kids. I ain't touched a leaf or a tree in over 20-something years before I touched a leaf or a tree. And I know y'all take that for granted. You don't know how great it felt to touch a tree with my hand. You know what I mean? Because all the thing they had was cement and steel. Cause I was always in the pen. You know what I mean? And they ain't got no trees in the pen.
Now, and you kind of answered your question, but I want to ask it again. You had a good 10-year run at the top.
Yeah.
But 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do it over again? With everything being said.
Nah, that's the whole point. That's what my YouTube channel is about. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't tell my enemy to do it. You understand what I'm saying? Because it wasn't at the end. It wasn't worth it. You can't phantom with 26. I came out sane. You understand? I know a lot of brothers that left back there that done been broke. You understand what I'm saying? After only a decade. Some after 2 and 3 years. But I've seen good men usually break after about a decade. You start seeing where their minds start going. You know what I mean? Where you know that they breaking. So you know to be easy when you talk to them because they can snap at any minute. You know what I mean? But they don't know it, that they done turned into a killing machine. They just waiting for something to kill. And I ain't trying to be the one, so I got to know how to recognize these signs. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what it's like being contained in nothing left here, man. For 26 years, I was in a box like this. For 26 years, nothing left. Nothing left. I sure didn't. You know what I mean? And I'm growing with dudes that's been in 10, 15 years like me. And they having conversations about the 80s and 2000. I'm talking about everything happened. They relating it to the 80s. I'm like, yo, dude, that shit dead. Let's go to the law library, dog. Let's get out there, you know what I mean? And get some of that cash money bling. That's when they was big. You know what I mean? That's how I used to motivate myself and motivate the good men around me that was willing to fight. Because all this was a fight. You know? All this was a fight.
You said that men break 2 years, 3 years, sometimes 10 years in.
The stronger men take about a dime to break. Right. Start seeing them breaking.
And now, when you say break, for people who don't understand that, what would a man breaking be?
Oh man, I mean, you know, always mad, face always screwed up. You know what I mean? Or it's just sitting in the corner. You understand what I'm saying? With no expression on his face because he done shut everything down and he's just there. And you know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying, man. That's when you know. Come on, dog. You know when you know a dude. That picture you see me later on, and I'm all. You're like, yo, what's wrong with this? You understand what I'm saying? But these are the signs you gotta watch. Like I said, I took the suicide prevention if I'm a specialist with that. But these are different signs you gotta watch. See, when we was growing up, and you know, we used to wild out. Our neighborhood would tell us, oh, he just bad, he just wilding. You know what I mean? But we really had mental issues. You understand? That needed help, that needed attention, and was crying out for attention. But in the hood, oh, he just wilding. He bugged out. They got all these fancy names for meaning trauma. You know what I mean? Somewhere along the line, we've been traumatized and that triggered our brain to shut down. You understand? Or make us react in a certain way. But everybody took that for, oh, he just bugging. You know what I mean? That's just little Bobby. You know what I mean? But you better believe little, Kenny, Stewart, his mom going to take him to the mental health doctor quick to go get him some medication to balance out his mood swings. You understand? Well, we say, oh, I'm not going to get my kid no medication, but the kid need help. You know what I mean? You see the kid need help. You know what I mean? But the white people taking their kids to get help, and we tell our kid, oh, they'll be all right. Like time is going to heal it.
Yeah, we do that. We do that. That is something that minorities do. You were in there 26 years. Was there ever any point that you felt you were going down the road of breaking?
A couple of times certain things hit me, but it's like I always talk to myself and say, come on, nigga, pick your chest up. You know what it is. You fighting. You know what I mean? Because my brother died on this case. You understand what I'm saying? After 2 weeks after I got sentenced, the Fed shot my brother in the head. You understand what I'm saying? And brought his picture to come see me, threw it on the counter, big 8x10 fancy picture of me chained to the ground to tell me that the fox hunt is over. You know what I mean? That's the games they play. You know what I mean? But welcome to my world, you know? But, you know, that's where it is. So none of that don't move me, man. You know, all this, man, it's, you know, it is what it is, dog. You know, it's just about survival. When God ready, he take you. You know what I mean? Until then, you make a name for yourself. You leave something behind for your grandkids and your grandkids. You know what I mean? And, you know, it is what it is.
You dealt with many agencies when you had these cases.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to list a couple of agencies. You tell me which agency is the hardest to deal with in terms of your case and how to get out of it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in order. ATF,
Mm-hmm.
IRS, FBI, DEA.
FBI, you know what I mean? The DEA, that ain't, you know what I mean? They like police officers. Those is little alphabet boys. You know what I mean? They get the work and turn it over to the FBI. And then the FBI turn it over to the federal government. Those are the two to worry about, that federal government. Because, you know, your indictment is going to say United States of America versus Fatmanscoop. That means all 52 or 53 states, whatever they call them, they got nowadays, it's going to be against you. You're fighting all of them with a dude that went to Ivy League College and got all the resources and finances to put this case together. And here you go with your little drug money off the street, don't know nothing about law. Now you got to pick a lawyer to fight this lawyer and don't even realize that it's a fight. You know what I mean? Against the lawyers.
Was the IRS? Did you ever have any dealings with the IRS?
That was the money. Yeah, that was the money laundering. That wasn't shit. I mean, come on. They got to know where the money is to get the money. You know what I mean? You know how that is. I wasn't worried about them. That don't even carry no time. The IRS, it's them feds, man.
So,
you know what I mean?
In order, it would forget the IRS. You could throw them out of there.
No, the IRS could stay. No, the IRS got to stay because that's the federal government also. I'm saying that the DEA you mentioned, the ATF, you know what I mean? Those are just little branches that go out and do the minion work and then push it up the ladder to the big boys.
Right.
So those ain't nothing. But that DEA, that drugs is what's going to get you your time to go up when it's time to get sentenced. You understand? So don't get confused where I'm at. Like I said, I try and break a lot of this down at Unique Mecca Audio over my YouTube. But, you know, everything just go together, man, where them feds, you know, the DEA, they bring the information to them. The DEA is like a police officer. He's like a detective. You know what I mean? But for drugs, to put it that way. So you ain't really scared of him. You can buy him off easy because he's way down the totem pole. You understand what I'm saying? Those are the boys on the street that's feeling life like we feeling it. You understand what I'm saying? But they think they got in it to make it a better world. But you know what I mean? They got into it.
The FBI something to watch for.
Oh hell yeah, that's the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Those are the big boys. Those are the ones that put all that information together that the DEA, ATF, and you know IRS and everybody, they give it to the FBI. The FBI got the resources to do what they do. So the first one is that the federal government. You know what I mean? A federal prosecutor got more power than a judge.
How is that?
Because the way the laws was written from in the 80s, you know what I mean, from the beginning of time, but when they really did the new crime bill and all that, it took away the power from the judges for how much time you get and dictate how much time you get by what happened during the course of your crime. And the only person that dictates what that is the prosecutor. You understand what I'm saying?
So really, technically, all the judge can do is sentence you based on what the prosecutor gives you, and the prosecutor is really the one in control of saying this, and this.
Exactly, because they got a chart, man. They got a chart, right? So they got a chart, and the chart would say something like, 0 to 10 keys, 0 to 5 keys. You know what I mean? You get 20 years, 10 years. 0 to 20 keys, you get 30 years. 0 to 40 keys, you get 40 years. So whatever amount of keys that they give you here is what dictates your sentence. You understand what I'm saying? So the prosecutor, he'll get the rats in your case. You understand what I'm saying? To say, you know what I mean? Like, okay, they take stuff like Scoop, you was buying drugs from your connect an ounce a day for 2 years. You understand? So they say, okay, an ounce a day for 2 years. There's 56, 56 weeks in a year. You know what I mean? Double that times 2. That's what, 5 to you understand what I'm saying?
They start adding it up like that.
And now that's how much drugs you got. Now you got 56. You got like 120 ounces from the 1 ounce that he said that you bought one day. And then now the prosecutor tell the judge, look, he got X amount. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, he got 20 keys. You know what I mean? So this is how much time he must get. And only way he could get less time is if he work with me and tell on some of his comrades. If he tell us where he got the drugs from, tell us who was working for him, who was putting the cards in their name for the IRS. You see where I'm coming from? That's how they helped each other. Where he was getting the drugs from for the DEA. You understand what I'm saying? How he was maneuvering around, you know, with technology to not be detected by the FBI. You know what I mean? So that's where they all come in now. They want information. You know what I mean?
To help each agency do what they need to do for the next person.
For the next person to get more people. Because the object is to get as many as they can. The object is to put as many black and brown people in prison so that when they come out of prison, they lost their right to vote, and that means that they don't count. If you can't vote to make a decision on a life and death issue, that means that you don't exist. Yeah, that means you're nothing.
Yeah, you have no values.
No, exactly. Because only people they care about value is who put them in office. Because who goes in office is who control the purse. Because they write their checks for themselves.
Now, what went into you not talking? Because being faced with that amount of time, people usually talk. What went into you saying not doing that?
Bottom line, that's the way I was raised. From I hit the street. You know what I mean? You get caught, you shut the fuck up, you do your time, and that's it. You know what I mean? No man owe you nothing. You the one that you slipped. You got caught. That's the end of it. You know what I mean? So you don't need to tell on Johhny. I talked to a little young man that I used to break off in another state. You understand what I'm saying? And I talked to him for the first time since I've been home. And he was telling, man, thank you, man, for not telling on me. I said, dog, don't disrespect me and tell me about you thank me for nothing. You know what I mean? Because that's what had to be done. I don't get no props for that. That's a part of the game. You know what I mean? You get caught, you go to jail. And you shut the fuck up. The same way if you double dribble, you know what I mean? You call the foul. And you get whatever, you know, the consequences cost, and you take it. You don't argue with the ref. You don't fight it. You understand? You can appeal it, and you do what needs to be done. But this is life. This is real life. You understand what I'm saying? So I wasn't, you know, like I said, man, none of that. I already know when you get caught, man, you hold your own. If not, get out the game. That's why I say don't get involved in the game, because there's rules to it. You understand what I'm saying? There's rules to it. That's why I want you to know, whether you tell, you don't tell, or whatever, them people going to burn you. You know what I mean? Them people going to burn you. It ain't nothing nice. You know, that's why I'm telling you, don't get in it. I did 26 years. I made it all the way to the top. And I'm telling you, it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? I had the memories to hold me for 26 years. You know what I mean? But I seen a lot of people bust with their good memories from 26 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It definitely can break you, like you said. You had a lot going on. You were at the top of the food chain. What do you remember a certain incident happening, a certain thing happening where you said, wait up, they got me. It's going to end now?
Nah, because like I said, I wasn't tripping on none of that, man. I didn't care about none of that. If it came, it came. If it was a shootout, I die in the street, or if they put the handcuffs on me, or if I get killed in the street. Like I said, dog, a nigga was surviving, man, moving forward to that bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? End the story. So death wasn't a thought or a contemplation. You know what I mean? It's just a reaction, you know what I mean, to whatever action that I put out. So I know to make sure my moves is calculated so that my reaction don't cost me my life. You know what I mean? And that's how it was back then. You know, it's like going to, listen, man. Listen, we got Zodiac. You remember the Zodiac? All right, I'm going to paint the picture because a lot of people here don't see it. Then I'm going to go. I've been up here too long already. I'm going to give you this one. The Zodiac. The Zodiac was a joint. Big shout out to my man T-Rod. T-Rod was the bouncer. You know what I mean? 49th Street. Y'all know T-Rod, the official, big homie. T-Rod was the bouncer down in that joint. You go in the joint, it's a little narrow hallway that one man could barely fit down to go downstairs to go into the club. You understand what I'm saying? Then when you go down there, then they got a big table and you got over $100,000-$200,000 down there. Dudes is gambling, paying CeeLo. You understand what I'm saying? In a gambling spot that you just had to go through a little tight ass hole to go through. You understand? And you know, dudes coming in with big platinum rings with diamonds, and you understand what I'm saying? And platinum chain. These are the old heads back in the day. You understand what I'm saying? And then you had little, you know, I'm gonna even give you a name. You had little Al B, you know, out the Bronx, coming with his little trench, you know, winter bomber, got the liner pulled out, got 100,000 on this side, 100,000 on that side. He walk in and say, stop the bank, drop 100,000 on the table. You understand? And niggas around you is thirsty and starving, dead broke. You know what I mean? And a lot of them is smoking woolers, you know what I mean? Putting the cocaine and the cigarette or the weed, and you know what I mean? So they already ain't right. And they seeing a nigga pulling out 100,000, putting it on the table. You know what I mean? That nigga was lucky to leave alive, man.
Problem.
You know what I mean? But at any minute something could happen doing that type of lifestyle that we was living is the point that I'm making. So for a nigga to sit here and say I'm scared to death, then don't bring your ass in that basement, because there's wolves down there and there's hungry wolves down there. You know what I mean? So if you go amongst the wolves, you know that you be ready to fight. If you ain't ready to fight, don't go. Yep, you know what I mean? That's why I'm telling them, get out the game.
That's hard. That's heart of the lion shit. Final question, man. Tell us about Aaayyoo in Harlem. Tell us about
Aaayyoo in Harlem. That's a book loosely based on my life story. You know what I mean? I went back till about from the herb gates and all that. If you want to know about the political wars, what it was like growing up in New York, and we had, like I said, herb gates back in the day was reefer spots in apartment buildings where you go ring the doorbell and walk in apartments. So you can imagine somebody coming to your next door neighbor house knocking, and he's sliding money under the door, through the ceiling in the door. You know what I mean? So I bring you all the way back to that. Then I bring you up to the Coke era. You know what I mean? When we used to freebase, you know, I've been shot a few times, jumped off the building, You know what I mean? And then, you know, yo, you know what time this is. Unique, the Harlem legend, the icon, the kingpin. Make sure y'all check out my YouTube channel at Unique Mecca Audio. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like my joints. Make sure you comment on the joints. And make sure you share this joint. Alright? Make sure you hit the notification button so you're notified when the videos come in. You don't want to miss it. And make sure you tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend that Unique Mecca Audio got it going on. Alright? Hey, make sure you get this joint. It's bananas. Aaayyoo in Harlem at AaayyooInHarlem.com. You ain't gonna find another better book. Yo, get this joint while supplies last, because I'm telling you, the best book you're gonna read, 5 stars, it's crack.